Hey everybody, welcome back. These are some entitled bridezillas that can take this L. This L. This one. This is not backwards.
We're off to a really great start.
Am I the a-hole for leaving my sister's wedding early because she kept my husband out of the pictures? My 31 male sister Anne, 34 female, got married on Saturday. My husband of 7 years, Mark, 32 male, was there with me, and up until one point, it was an amazing evening. After the ceremony, Anne wanted a picture with all of our siblings. There's 5 of us and their respective partners, so we started lining up. When Anne saw that my husband was standing next to me, she shook her head and said something about him ruining the aesthetic. I'm sorry, is your relationship not aesthetically pleasing to your sister? Apparently, her plan was to put one man and one woman next to each other alternately. Okay. Are you serious? My younger sister, 18 female, who doesn't have a partner and was standing on the very side, offered to stand between the two of us so we could be close and Anne's wish could still be respected. Okay, yeah, that's a decent solution. I fail to understand why, if people are going to be standing with their partners, what does it matter if they're aesthetically pleasing or not?
She's horrible.
I'm sorry, I'm just gonna say it. It just kind of sounds like she doesn't like the fact that you're gay. Sorry. Is that like, am I reaching here? Because what is this really about? I thought that that was a great solution, but Anne disagreed and told Mark to get out of the picture. He's quite introverted and tries to avoid confrontation under all circumstances, so he simply complied and told me not to get angry. But it was obvious that he was hurt and disappointed by being left out.
Yeah, no Sherlock.
I fail to see why she wouldn't want her brother-in-law in the photos with her. Obviously, it didn't stop me from getting angry, and I walked away with him. I can understand that Anne wants her wedding pictures to look exactly like how she imagined them. Did she also imagine that her brother would be straight? Burn! But I think that the idea my younger sister proposed was very reasonable. I congratulated Anne and her husband one last time, but then I said my goodbyes. When I was asked why we were leaving early, especially before taking pictures, I said I didn't feel like our presence was wanted. Literally. We left before dinner was served, and I took Mark out to his favorite restaurant to cheer him up a little. Anne has texted me since saying I was being over dramatic and making a fuss over nothing. Okay, but she's the one that didn't want your husband in the picture. Like, you offered a solution. You said, okay, so then we can just put a girl in between us. But she's the one that didn't want your husband in the picture. Why is that?
Seems kind of gay.
Our parents have tried to remain neutral, but except for my younger sister, the rest of my family supports Anne and think that leaving early was going too far and that I should have sucked it up instead of ruining her big day. Also, to edit for confusion, my husband is able-bodied and white, so is most of my family, but we are indeed a gay couple. I don't think you were the a-hole, my dear. I think that not wanting someone to be in pictures deliberately is really rude. I don't care if it's your wedding or not. What does it matter if they're in the pictures? Unless you have an ulterior motive for not wanting them to be in the pictures, which is also a reason to leave.
Hasta la vista, baby.
Not the a-hole. Has your sister always been shamelessly homophobic? See? Or has the wedding brought out a new side of her?
That's new.
Okay, I'm glad I'm not crazy, because that is the first, I didn't want to like jump the gun or anything, because that is what I got from this. I admit, I didn't even realize that was a possibility. I just saw 2 married people at a wedding. So that to me would probably feel like I was being discriminated against. I've never been discriminated against in that way, but I think that they were there and they probably felt some type of way about being excluded. 100% homophobia, even if the sister doesn't even realize it. If you're fully embracing a family member as LGBTQ+, aesthetic of siblings with their partners having one couple being 2 gay men would mean nothing. This sounds homophobic. Like, this sounds like she does not like gay people. The aesthetic for a siblings and partner photo is that your siblings and their partners are in the photo. If anything, you could make an argument to do a photo with and without the younger single sister. That's a good point. Could have been like, okay, we'll get one where the aesthetic is what I want, and then we'll get one with all the siblings together with their partners. The bride fully didn't want him to be in the photo. It wasn't about that. It was about him not wanting him to be in the photo. Your parents are not being neutral either. That is a good point. They are showing they are uncomfortable with the gay couple by siding on the sister's side of the argument about BS aesthetic and letting it look how the sister imagined it, aka hetero couples only. You're not the a-hole, my dear. And you gotta talk to your sister about her issues.
Which one?
Am I the a-hole for leaving my friend's wedding when she told me I needed to cover up my psoriasis? God, these brides really do be out here thinking that their wedding is like some sort of like magazine shoot or something. You're getting married. This isn't Vogue. And by the way, Vogue would for sure put someone with psoriasis on the cover. Aren't we keeping up with beauty standards now? Everybody is different. Let's embrace it. You made me sit. I'm sure you were sitting already, but you make you sit down again. I, 24 female, have psoriasis. It is all over my body and presents like vitiligo in a way, just so you can get an image in your head. I have medicated cream that helps with the itchiness, and it also helps with the dryness. The psoriasis is all over my body with it stopping right on my neck, and I do have a few spots on the side of my face near my ears. I've always been pretty embarrassed as I cannot cake on enough makeup to truly cover up my psoriasis. It's textured and thick, and on top of that, no matter what I do or however I attempt said makeup, it always looks horrible. There is something about applying makeup to texture that just makes it look 10 times worse. And the fact that you're covering it up is just like you're adding product to it, and that just makes it stick out more. It just looks like you're trying to cover something up, you know? My doctor also recommended to not smother the areas with makeup as it tends to make it worse and itchier. That is a good point. And it doesn't surprise me because like your skin is kind of peeling off and stuff, and that's kind of creating like an open wound, so to speak, and you don't want to be covering that up and putting makeup on it. My friend's wedding was on Saturday, and of course I was invited. I bought a dress that would cover my body fairly well as I didn't want to draw attention to myself. The entire week leading up to the wedding, I was continuously testing concealers on the remaining spots that were exposed, which made me itchy. And I basically scratched my skin raw. Oh, girl, that's brutal. With psoriasis, those areas can sometimes bleed if I scratch too much, which is what happened. My boyfriend, who was attending the wedding, told me I shouldn't worry about it and that it would be better if I just stopped trying to cover them as it was just making it worse. You're here for the boyfriend. I reluctantly agreed and we attended the wedding ceremony. It was great. I was extremely happy for my friend and her now husband. But as we were leaving to go to cocktail hour, she pulled me aside and asked if I was going home to cover up my psoriasis. Never did I think that someone who had just gotten married would be so fixated on someone else's skin condition and felt it necessary to tell that someone to go cover it up.
Girl, don't you got bigger things to worry about?
I was a little taken aback and explained that I couldn't, as the entire week I'd been testing concealers and made it 20 times worse. She told me she didn't care.
Friends like these, huh?
Absolutely not. No way. This was her wedding and she didn't want her guests asking me questions or feeling queasy during dinner. Okay. No one feels queasy except for you, darling. It's not that serious. God, what a bitch. I'm sorry. That is so rude. My boyfriend stepped in and told her if that was the case, we would be leaving and not attending the rest of the wedding. She was pissed off and extremely angry at that choice, and ever since, she's been ranting about it to our friends. She was angry that your boyfriend, stand-up guy, stuck up for you and you guys threatened to leave the wedding because she insulted you and the way that you look.
That is correct.
Not the a-hole, and honestly, that would be the end of the friendship for me. She really showed you her true colors, didn't she? OP response, that's why I put friends in quotes, because I don't think I'll ever speak to her again. I don't think you should, babes. I don't think anybody would really care all that much. Nobody's gonna get queasy, except for maybe her. And frankly, if your friend gets queasy at the sight of you, yeah, you shouldn't be friends with that person. For the record, I don't think that she gets queasy at the sight of you. I think that she was just being incredibly rude. You're not the a-hole, my dear. And I really like your boyfriend, by the way. At least you have him through all of this. Stand-up guy. All right, we got one more, and I saved the doozy for last. They are all doozies, though, aren't they?
Damn straight.
Am I the a-hole for wearing my engagement ring when I knew my stepsister was getting engaged? I will be the judge of that, but doesn't sound like it. I, 28 female, got engaged at the beginning of December. For Christmas, I was staying with my mom and stepdad, and they were hosting my stepdad's whole family. Step-siblings, mothers, brothers, cousins, families, for a New Year's party. Prior to this, my stepsister, 29 female, Rachel's now fiance Matt, informed my parents that he was going to propose and asked if it would be okay to do it at the party, and my parents agreed.
First mistake.
For the party, everyone was dressing up, and obviously, to me, I was wearing my engagement ring. ring.
As one does.
Everybody already knew I was engaged, but it was the first time they'd seen the ring in person. So at the start of the party, everyone was interested in seeing it. I did notice that Matt was being a bit cold with me, but I thought it was nerves. Oh, was like Matt a little uncomfortable with the ring size? You made him look like a chump? What happened? What's happening here? Or is this simply just a case of your engagement overshadowed his engagement? Let's find out. The proposal happened and it was beautiful. Everybody congratulated Rachel, but it was kind of a 50-50 on people wanting to look at and compliment her ring and mine. Awkward. Okay. A lot of comparisons were made, nothing unkind, and everyone was really happy for Rachel, as was I. The day after, Rachel and Matt blew up at me about wearing my ring to the party. This is what happens when you get engaged. You wear rings.
It's quite cool.
Honestly, if they were that worried about the comparison and you know, kind of like taking the limelight, maybe they should have picked a later date to do the engagement. Rachel said I was deliberately trying to draw attention to myself on her special night.
What are you talking about?
Okay, but you also get to be congratulated on your engagement, not just her. And that since I knew beforehand she was getting engaged, so I shouldn't have worn my ring. No, that doesn't work like that. When you get engaged, you wear your ring everywhere. Since I don't always wear it anyway. Well, okay, that's fair, but like I would imagine you would probably wear it to like a New Year's Eve party where people are dressed up and looking nice. I don't really agree with this since I've been engaged for weeks and everybody already knew about it. It's not like I stole her thunder, nor did I intend to by wearing my ring. I wore it because I'm engaged, so that's what you do. Matt then accused, I knew it. Listen to this. Matt then accused me of embarrassing her by wearing my colossally large ring, when I knew Rachel's wouldn't be anywhere near as big, and intentionally showing him up in front of the family. I knew that's what this really was about. He even went on about the other jewelry I wore. Oh dear Lord. I can understand wanting to get your partner everything, right? And not being able to do that, not being able to provide, that would probably bother you quite a bit. Let's also not forget the fact that not everybody can afford a colossally large ring. Not everybody wants a colossally large ring. At the end of the day, an engagement ring symbolizes a promise. And it really shouldn't matter how big it is. It really shouldn't. Is that what you're reducing this to? My stepdad called them both stupid for their outburst. My stepbrother said there's no way I could have known that's how they'd feel. It's not like they asked me not to wear it. That's a good point. But also, even if they did ask you not to wear it, you better wear it. My mom says, while she knows I didn't do it deliberately, she can see where Rachel is coming from since everyone preferred my ring to hers. Everybody else there shouldn't have compared the two. I feel like the a-holes here are the ones that were at the party, the family and friends, that were kind of making, you know, Rachel and Matt feel weird about the fact that they had a smaller ring. You should never be like, oh, mine's bigger, hee hee.
Men do it all the time.
There should have never been like comparisons. She also said that given my ring is quite unique, I should have considered it would draw attention. I'm sorry, honey. That's the point of engagement rings. Not the a-hole. You are engaged. It is normal for you to wear your ring, especially at family occasions. Yes, especially when you're dressing up and wearing nice jewelry and nice clothes and stuff, like New Year's Eve. What's next? Can you not bring your husband to their wedding because any reminder that anyone else has gotten married would be upstaging their day? This just sounds like they are like a little bit insecure and jealous. Getting married is not about the ring size. It's not about, you know, all these superficial things. It's supposed to be about two people getting engaged because they love each other and want to spend the rest of their lives. Why are we like placing so much importance on a ring size? Everybody at this party remove your rings so only Rachel's ring shines. Oh, and Merry Christmas.
You filthy animal.
God, that is the most Delulu thing. Is that honestly what she expects? Imagine that was like a thing. Oh, I got engaged, so I need you to take off your engagement ring so that it doesn't upstage mine. I've said this once before and I will say it again. Normalize being happy for other people. Stop comparing what you have to what someone else has, okay? It doesn't help anybody. Comparison is the enemy of happiness. And that's on period. Subscribe!